And we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. Joe Glassford. I was looking at the description for today's or these tonight's episode. It was funny because benefiting, one or two T's. I looked it up beforehand. They said it's your choice. It's okay either way. So I was like one T, and then I was thinking after I did a while, should I change it to two T's? I've always used two T's. Okay, I'll put two T's there. So wherever out there anybody's like saying, "Oh, that's not," hey, it's the way they said. It's okay either which way, one or two T's. But it is, of course, the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. It is a snack pack, everyone. We're back here. JSJ says Joe or Sean better be here. Well, uh, looking forward to that as well. That's the reason why I'm doing this, because you guys said you wanted to hear one of their reactions, and so what I'm hoping to get is one of their reactions to this. Gerald Glassford, thanks again for watching this. Please like and subscribe. Go ahead and make sure you're checking out what the guys are doing at Lakerholics.com, plus also as well Empire Jeff TV. King Sorrow himself at the Joe Sorrow Experiment, plus also as well our good friends Alfred Esmond, legend, who will be on, hopefully, if all goes well, tomorrow at 6 p.m. Pacific as I interview Antoine Willis, who writes for the Lakers and also as well the Atlanta Hawks, writes on them as far as he covers the team for Fansided. And then also as well, go ahead and make sure you catch Daniel Berry Sports Highlights, with all the things that he's doing. So looking forward to going ahead and sharing all these great places with you each and every time out. But make sure you like and subscribe to what they do, follow what they do, but also as well, make sure you like, subscribe, follow, support, 5-star, whatever you can do to go ahead and make sure you're catching us whenever you can right here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. So looking forward to another good episode this evening to cap off your viewing pleasure. Again, it is about the Kawhi Leonard scandal. And if I get to changes that were made or announced earlier today that are up for decision making on the All-Star game. Oh boy. I've already told you in the past how I feel about the All-Star game. It's a great day off for me from the NBA is the All-Star game is what I say. Who's Joe? I don't know, Barry. You tell me. I'll make sure you send them your love on there. Tough Soul, what's going on? Kurt, great to have you here as well as Kurt Affair. I don't see any Kurt sightings in the chat. Jeremy, what's going on? Xbox, what's up, my friend? Hopefully all is well, Mark. Kurt's here? I didn't see Kurt. All right. Well, if Kurt's here, what's going on? Travone, what's going on? Great to have everyone here. It is Gerald Glassford. Again, I'm going to hopefully do a little less speaking because I did all the speaking before. Plus, I've been doing some stuff in the background. But become a member today for just $2.99 a month. I'm working hard on some stuff behind the scenes. Not like Joe says with his production value things that he always says he's trying to prove on, which I can tell you for a fact he actually is trying to improve upon his production values. So I will give him credit for that, which was a little faster on that, but it is what it is. I am going ahead and working on some things behind the scenes that will be members first content that I hope that they will like here in the coming weeks so far for the NBA season. So would like to see that happening. Plus, I will hopefully be there this season, or at least a good part of the season, beyond more for you guys during the course of the day. I will try to go ahead and get you little tidbits here and there, little snack packs, as it were, hopefully during the course of the season, a little bit earlier from time to time, outside of just our now infamous post games that we have, which have become must-see viewing after the game one way or the other, indeed. So hopefully we can go ahead and provide more content for you this season as Luka is rounding into shape. Remember, tomorrow, 8 a.m. Pacific here in the U.S., 11 a.m. Eastern. Please go ahead and be a part of what we're doing at playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. Please go ahead and be part of it because we are going to be showing from our good friends in Australia. In this case, it's Vari, a sports baby. Go ahead and give him some love, give him thanks because he is going to take the time 1 a.m. in the morning, his time, to go ahead and show off what's going on with that game and show that on playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. So Slovenia versus Israel, I believe, is the game. So go ahead and make sure you check it out. No worries, Intel. I'm not on that long. It's 5 minutes. So glad to have you here, my friend. Waiting for. That's the one way to say it, sports baby. Absolutely. But again, I am working on some stuff behind the scenes that will be member first content. That especially for them, with them in mind. It will be eventually released to everyone else, but it will be released first for our members. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure that happens for them here in hopefully the coming days. Not everything's been worked out yet, but have been doing quite a bit behind the scenes, and just know that I'm making every effort to make things a little bit easier, a little bit better, more content, give you what you like here at the Lakers Fast Break. Jay said Kawhi was going to LA. Toronto was in the rear view regardless. Yes, he was. Yes, it was. But you remember from our earlier conversation, Jay, that I did talk about all the things Uncle Dennis was asking for from teams as he was a prospective free agent team. So definitely looking forward to seeing what Joe or whoever comes on the show has to say about what Uncle Dennis wanted at that point in time with the plane, with the home, with endorsements and all that stuff. That absolutely is the case. It's just amazing that someone would have the audacity to go ahead and ask for all that stuff and expect a team to sign him. But in a way, it worked because as we're finding out, again, credit to Pablo Torre for on his channel. Pablo Torre finds out. He did find out what happens with this whole situation. He did a lot of reporting behind the scenes, did a lot of investigation behind the scenes for years. And if you look on that show that he did after this one show, you can go ahead and pop on YouTube. Pablo Torre finds out he did a incredible job of getting sources, getting interviews, and getting a whole bunch of paper proof about as far as what went on possibly behind the scenes in regards to circumventing the cap possibility right there with the Clippers. Again, we'll wait and see if this proven to be the case. But the evidence is pretty damning, to say the least. Yes, Tough, you saw the video of Pablo. Yeah, it's must-see viewing because it goes over in detail, does it in an entertaining fashion, but does go over in detail the specifics on that and has there along with them. Intel Wild Super Chat says, F the toenail Clippers. At JSJ said, I must hate the Clippers for doing a second show tonight on it. It is what it is. I've never liked the Clippers. Again, I spoke to the story about Danny Manning and the draft that was there at the Sports Arena, and I went there in my Lakers colors with my friend, who also was wearing his Laker colors, and porked out on free food there for 2 hours and laughed at the Clippers the entire time. It was great. Intel Wild says, thank you for speaking on this, Gerald. Thank you, Intel, for watching. And thank you again for your generous super chats. It is always greatly appreciated. Again, I'm hopefully we'll be joined here in a minute by one of our esteemed colleagues on the panel. So looking forward to that. But again, I wanted to mention two things. Again, I will be having an interview with Antoine Willis Jr., who again writes for Fansided. That will be scheduled as of now because he changed it to tomorrow, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. He writes for the Lakers. He writes on the Lakers and also as well writes on the Atlanta Hawks as well. So looking forward to hearing what that is as far as his opinion on the Lakers and what's going on in the NBA as well. Looking for a good hour chat. Legend may join us on there as well. So we'll be looking forward to that coming up here tomorrow. And then, of course, tomorrow as well, courtesy of our friend Vari, aka Sports Baby, 8 o'clock in the morning for you guys here on the West Coast, and also as well 11 o'clock on the East Coast, 1 o'clock Australian time. It is Slovenia versus Israel, and that'll be on playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. Xbox. I was gonna say, man, Joe isn't even here yet, but yeah, that's neither here nor there. Yes, wrong chat. Yes, wrong chat indeed. That's what happens when you have too many chats going at the same time. I'm not gonna say I've never done that before, but yeah, it's never good when you put the wrong thing on the wrong chat. But here today to go ahead and speak out on the Kawhi Leonard scandal, to say the least. Good man indeed. You got to go ahead and check him out today at the Joe Soro experiment, plus also as well Joe Soro experiment on playback, where the Dodgers seem to lose now every game, and I'm sure that's caught the ire already. We saw Fire Dave Roberts here in the chat earlier today. It is, of course, Joe Soro. Joe, good to have you here, awaiting the Steelers season opener coming up here in the not too distant future. But Kawhi has broken up the NBA silence after Pablo Torre found out about this scandal involving a now defunct company. The owner has either been indicted or been charged or convicted. I forget which, about for wire fraud, I believe. Steve Ballmer possibly has been funneling money to this company, as far as it's concerned, to pay Kawhi Leonard $28 million overall. I think it was over the basis of 4 years. But if you watch that show, Joe, you understand that the contract and everything that was laid out there and the allegations made from that show are really damning, my friend. The contract states that he was supposed to do some things, but also in that contract, he wasn't required to do them as well. Essentially, for doing nothing, $28 million. That's good work if you can get it.
That would make sense for someone who's not making millions. I'm sorry. That doesn't work because you don't really make billions in the NBA yet. But I was going to say a guy who makes billions and maybe perhaps millions. Greed is an interest.
Not always good.
Greed is exactly. Thank you for finishing that. I was trying to transition the opposite way, but that was good. Thank you, G. I have no idea what's going to happen. I've been racking my brain. Our esteemed colleague Nick Molina mentioned, and I had even thought about this when I first heard the story, even for a few hours. Would they force Steve Ballmer to sell the team? And I was like, wow, I've never really looked at it that way. Could they? I mean, this is way worse than the Joe Smith debacle in the mid '90s.
I think so.
And they lost 5 first-round picks. They were fined $3.5 million. I believe the NFL has I don't know if the NBA has it, but I know the NFL has a cap on how much they can fine an owner. I think it's like $10 million, right?
Yep.
So I don't know if they have something like that in the NBA, but Ballmer's going to get the max on the fine for sure. There's definitely going to be draft capital that's going to be taken away. The question now is, does Kawhi get suspended for a year? That was the one thing that popped in my head. Will they suspend him for a year? And where that becomes bad for him is the money that he did all this for now is gone. More actually. Because I don't think he's one of those guys that cares about reputation or PR. He doesn't care about that. But they did this, as in the Clippers and his people did this so that they can be viable in LA. And rumors are, I'm saying alleged. I think they're true, but they're alleged at this point, right? You got to be lawyers. Yeah. You don't want to have a defamation suit on Gerald Glassford on a Lakers fast break.
This is all allegations, mind you. But
you got to think about that kind of stuff here.
I did put the link. Intel was asking for the link for Pablo Torre's channel. Pablo Torre finds out. It's there for you in the chat. I did want to mention a couple of super chats that he put in. Good old Uncle Dennis. And see how life works. If LeBron took a pay cut, people would automatically think he's taking money under the table like Kawhi. That's a good point, because I'm assuming, again, around the world, some sports team may be doing something similar as well. I wouldn't put a bet against that. But I do want to answer this and get you back to you, Joe. JY was saying at the end of the day, Ballmer did all this to keep Kawhi away from the Lakers. Not necessarily JY, because if you read the report that was put out there by Sam Amick of The Athletic, remember The Athletic is also part responsible for Pablo Torre Finds Out show, but Sam Amick of The Athletic as well said that the Lakers and other teams interested in Kawhi in that summer of 2019 were all indicated by Uncle Dennis. Say, if you want him on your team, you have to give him the house, the plane, sponsorship, as far as him be getting endorsement money, et cetera, Joe. So again, it wasn't just the Lakers. It was other teams as well that were told the same deal. But somehow this has led to, again, this third party company that went under. The owner was, again, in legal trouble over wire fraud. All this, accentuates to Ballmer. I agree with you that throwing money at Ballmer is not going to really stick too much when he's one of the richest men on the planet, but make that money, that fine, stick to the salary cap. Make it count against the salary cap. Take multiple draft picks and suspending Kawhi Leonard, and I think that's a more fair assessment of how to deal with this situation.
I don't know what you're damning an entire career. You could damn a career, though, for a lot of these players that were not involved. I think that's the only part that I feel bad about. Guys like James Harden, like he had nothing to do with this, right? Now, does he leave? Is he allowed to now be a free agent or whatever? I've never seen anything like this. We've talked about it in joking manner. Hey, have them have a job after they retire. Something, I don't know. Give them stock tips that you have, insider trading type stuff. Make money, right? I don't know. This is going to be unprecedented, I think, though. I think Adam Silver surprised a lot of people when he jettisoned Donald Sterling, because everyone was talking, well, they're going to suspend Donald Sterling for a year. They're going to fine him, blah, blah, blah. Adam Silver came out and said, no, this guy's gone. And they're like, whoa. I don't know if this is to that extent, but it's pretty close, though. Just different scenarios, obviously. One is worse than the other in the grand scheme of things, but it's just as a detriment to the sport in that you were able to get a superstar that probably cost the Lakers banners, because he was going to be a Laker if Clippers weren't doing this. And we've talked about this. We talked about this way before this came out. If Kawhi Leonard goes to LA, there's no doubt that the Lakers win multiple championships, and it's very likely they probably win 3 at the very least, because we'll never know this, obviously, but common sense says Kawhi wouldn't have to kill himself as much. AD wouldn't have had to have killed himself as much. And of course, LeBron wouldn't have had to have killed himself as much. So they would have equally, the extra third guy would have taken so much burden off that team. And I would not have been surprised either. And I didn't talk about this on the show, but I actually talked about this with one of my buddies not too long ago. I said, I honestly think that even if AD had gotten hurt still in 2021, a healthy Kawhi and a healthy LeBron James, I think still win a title in 2021. I'm just saying, like, they could have. There would have been a chance to do that. Would have been harder, but 2021 was in shambles for a lot of these teams. So
then it would have been a party at Kawhi's new home that the Lakers
yeah. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that
but they first have to fly there. Remember, in the plane that the Lakers bought him as well.
One of the things that I always want to continue to elaborate on is Steph Curry. He's never been better than LeBron James. I'm on record saying that, and I'm not saying that to diss Steph Curry. LeBron is just a better player than Steph Curry. It's just like the argument with Tim Duncan versus Kobe. Who's better? He has 5 championships. Kobe has 5. I'm like, no. completely different ball players, completely different impact on how those guys' talent works with the team. If Kobe had a stable front office his entire career, one coach his entire career, it's very likely that Kobe Bryant would have had more than 5 championships. I mean, if you really want to dig in, right? So fast forward to what we're talking about now, and Steph Curry didn't care about Durant coming to Golden State, and they created the dynasty. And if Kawhi had just looked at it that way, the same way Steph does, the same way Clay did, the same way Draymond did, it would have alleviated now this problem for him. And it would have brought more championships in his belt. Kawhi didn't have anything to prove, right? Like, he had won in San Antonio as, you could say, he was the man in 2014. He was you want to talk about a dual threat, one of the few dual threats that's ever played. He was definitely the number one in Toronto. So if he wins a title in LA or 2 or 3, it wouldn't have been a burden. And again, it's Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi doesn't want the fame, and he would have been able to just be the guy that does what he does, and LeBron would have been who LeBron would have enjoyed the attention, and then AD would do what he does. It's so dumb that this turned out the way it did, especially now with this. Was it all because of money? It's all because of money. I thought it was because he wanted to be on his own. It's not true. It turned out to be something stupid like it normally is. There are exceptions, but more often than not, the exception is just an anomaly, right? The rule is that they got bought, and they got extra bought, and now they're going to get extra'd. And it's going to come down to, I seriously would be shocked if Kawhi Leonard isn't suspended for at least a year. That would probably be a bigger shock for me. They have to recoup that money, and the only way they recoup that money is he loses a year's salary, not getting paid. At least for him. What they do with Ballmer, definitely a fine. Going drastic would be making him sell a team, which would be, I would be shocked, even though I'm saying it, that could be a possibility.
Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is Joe Soro along with me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for watching this, and truly appreciate you doing so. Thanks again for being part of what we do here at the Lakers Fast Break. Please like and subscribe. Don't forget, tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock on playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break, we'll have Slovenia and Luka Doncic playing against Israel. So go ahead and catch the game. A big shout out to Vari once again for doing that. And then tomorrow night at 6 p.m., I'm going to have Antoine Willis Jr., who writes for Fansided on the Lakers and also as well Hawks, on the show for an hour as well. Intel Wild, appreciate again the generous super chat. As always, Kawhi Leonard's contracts are definitely to be terminated this season, plus Ballmer gets a $50 million fine, which I believe you mentioned earlier, Intel, on the earlier show, that at least 5 of 10 of their next first-round draft picks get taken away. That should be the minimum. But let's just say you're sitting in the commissioner's seat, Joe, seeing how this plays out. You looked it over, all the notes, the pages, and if you saw that episode of Pablo Torre Finds Out, you understand there are thousands of pages of contracts and paperwork that you have to go through. And you weed through all that. You see the source, get to understand the sources of Pablo Torre. You have some interviews. You find out everything is looking more like what Pablo Torre says and what the Clippers don't say, because the Clippers, when they want their statement earlier today was that's absurd. Paraphrasing here, there's no way we would do something like this. We would no way in shape or form funnel money like this, et cetera, et cetera. Of course, they're denying everything, but let's say it's proven to be the case. It's proven out that the Clippers did circumvent the cap. What would be the punishment that you think is fair in this case, seeing how your goal is to prevent it from happening again?
If it's just the no-show job, nothing else that we haven't heard yet, I wouldn't probably make Ballmer sell the team. I think Ballmer's actually a good owner for the NBA, good representation there. But you got to find him the max amount of money, whatever that is. The draft picks are going to be 5 was taken away in the 90s. Are they going to, this is worse. Are they going to take 7 or 8? Okay, here. I'll tell you what I would do based off the information. Ballmer suspended from operations for 2 years. Find the maximum amount of money. 2 years, he doesn't run anything. 7 draft picks, first round picks, and Kawhi Leonard is suspended for a year with no pay. And I think that's coming out easy. And I think there's a possibility Adam Silver might do something much harsher. There's a possibility there.
And again, the Clippers
especially, and here's where this is a problem.
Uh-huh.
Here's where this is a problem. That little PR thing that they just said, if that was, to me, you better be right when you pull out of your rear end. If we find out that you're guilty and you still did something like that, then you got to go even worse. Yeah, then it goes another level.
Uh-huh.
You essentially say, all right, you guys did this. We have proof you did it. And you still came out that same day and said, this is absolutely ridiculous. Now you guys are not only crooks, you're gaslighting liars, which is the worst liar to be. For those of you who don't know what that means, imagine somebody stealing your money and you know they stole your money, right? Let's say you had a camera and you caught them. But they don't know that you caught them with the camera. You just say, hey, where's my money? You stole it. I know you did. They'll come back at you and say, oh, you're the thief and you're this and this, that. They get defensive. You're the classic kind of narcissistic trait. So those guys putting that PR story out, defending themselves, they better be right. Or I'm factoring that in. Remember how they always say, when you get caught doing something, shut your mouth, ask for your lawyer, shut up. Get your lawyer and shut up. Don't say anything. It'll incriminate you. So that's what I'm waiting on now. Honestly, I don't think this thing comes out the way it did unless there's something going on. This is not something you just make up. What, somebody went out of nowhere? All right, we're going to say that they opened up a tree company and then they gave them $28 million and then who the hell makes up some story? Right? Like this stuff is detailed. So I hope whoever the person came out and said, I remember reading it, but I can't remember who wrote it or
Pablo Torre,
okay,
former
Pablo Torre.
ESPN.
Pablo, you better be
something now.
Yeah, you better wait. He put the story out, or he said it.
He put the story out. He did all the research in it. Again, if you take a look at the video, he has backed it up with thousands of pages of documents, and they actually read the contracts, the pertinent part of the contracts, Joe, on the air, so that you could better understand what was going on with the affiliation with all this, how it's working under the system, the possibility that, where Aspiration, which is the company that is at the center of all this, where this money was funneled into and funneled out of on the other end to Kawhi, how this all fits in. You gotta, if you watch it, people, take an hour, a minute of your time, watch that, because it gives you the complete understanding. He puts everything out there. He provides an interview with a former employee of Aspiration. He goes to lengths to try to get you to understand how serious this is, Joe.
It's very serious if this is true. It's very serious. I'm looking at it from a Lakers standpoint because that was it. It was either LA and then LA or Lakers or the Clippers. As a Laker fan, this becomes an even bigger story, because this deal cost the Lakers championships. So there's a story there. You can create a story there. I'm not bothered by it. Like, I'm not sitting around going, "Oh my God, now it could have." No, I don't really care at this point. But point is, there's a story there.
I look at it from a point of amusement that again, it happens to the Clippers, and I'm not going to say, Joe, and this is going to be my next question I ask you. Are they the only team that's out there that's doing this? Because I'm not saying NBA, I'm saying sports team, whether it's European soccer, whether it's Major League Baseball, whether it's hockey, football, what have you. Do you think this could be being done right now through a shell company or what have you? What other type of venture? Money being funneled to avoid salary cap imperfections?
I wouldn't doubt it. You've seen the movie Blue Chips, right?
Mm-hmm.
You remember how the character Penny Hardaway played? His mother got a house, she got a job. Billy Rowe was it Billy Rowe? I can't remember. I know Ricky Rowe,
Mm-hmm.
the kid from Indiana. He had $30,000 in cash in a duffel bag. That one isn't as elaborate. That was pretty basic, so that one isn't too hard to do. Shaq was, I guess, illegally recruited. I don't know. I can't remember exactly what they did, what was wrong there, but he was given a car. Sorry, and I don't think he took it. That was his story. But Penny Hardaway's character, his mother, similar situations. She had to show up for her job in that movie, but we all know that she didn't buy her house. I have no doubt that this stuff goes on, but for the crooks out there, and I'm sure the crooks know this better than anybody, if you're gonna crook, make sure you crook with the right crook, because the second they can dime on you to save their rear ends, they will. And and this is kind of the funny story about the Houston Astros. And Rob Manfred doesn't really care about baseball, and I'm not the only one that says that. He's a businessman. I really just don't think he cares about baseball. And I know if I said that to him, he'd probably get pissed off at me, but he just doesn't. So those guys ratted each other out to save their own ass. They were caught, but then they ratted to get immunity to keeping the trophy likely and not being suspended or kicked out of the league. Shoeless Joe Jackson in 1909 was caught cheating, quote unquote. But they've argued that how can a guy be cheating if he's batting 340 or whatever it was that he was batting in that series? And those were times when guys weren't getting paid the kind of money they were getting paid now, obviously. So there's so many ways this thing can go. We just need to know what's proven. Once this thing is proven, from my perspective, I guess the example has to be set, because this is pretty bad.
First off, I want to go ahead and mention a couple things. What Mark said, we're going to get to your statements here in a minute. Intel Wild said, appreciate again the super chat. He's, I guess, adding 805 Dodgers. So if you cheat, what should be the correct punishment? Because again, I think in the chat, I did want to make mention that 805 thought 5 to 10 first round picks was excessive. I personally don't think so, because we've already seen a precedent with the Joe Smith deal, and I think this is worse than the Joe Smith controversy or what went down, and 5 first round picks were taken away, plus Joe Smith's contract was voided. I do think there should be some severe punishment handed out from the league, because this is, I think, significantly worse than the Joe Smith situation. But Mark says, and I wanted to bring up something Mark says, because Mark says he is not 100% convinced that Kawhi was knowledgeable at any point in time in regards to this, and says that he doesn't see how he could be on a personal level punished or suspended for this. Your thoughts on that, my friend?
Well, just let's talk about the current setup. Kawhi has 2 more years left on his contract at $50 million per. What they could do is they could look at it as, all right, we really want to set a precedent here. Void the
Which is, I think,
contract.
what you have to do, in my
Yeah,
personal.
you void the contract, the remaining years of the contract this year. I don't know if they'll have enough time to do something this year. Maybe they will. I don't know. But I would say I wouldn't be surprised if they said your remaining contract is null and void. You lose $100 million and you're suspended for those 2 years. That would be something that wouldn't surprise me. That there could be an option there. That would scare the bejesus out of anyone and everyone. And I'm not going to stand on the fact that he didn't know. It doesn't matter if he didn't know. He's supposed to know. And the public likes to dig, and in areas that don't have a place to dig, but because most people are useless losers and like to make fun and behind a camera, behind a laptop, behind a phone, like the cowards that they are. The FBI investigated Shohei thoroughly. They didn't even find one thing that attached to anything with Shohei. Yet he is looked on as a gambling junkie. And his interpreter took the fall. And there's stories about Ipe and the interpreter being a certain type of personality. And a lot of you out there who like to poke fun at the people who have money and are famous because you're not famous and you don't have any money, you all have friends that are dumbasses too. And you know what they're about and you let it go. So be careful throwing those rocks while you're sitting behind your little glass house and behind your little phone. In this case, there's evidence, and it's pretty damning. Details that we've read. This the minimal stuff where you're like, that doesn't sound good, because that doesn't sound like something someone would make up. They could if they're Stephen King, sure, but it's highly unlikely. But I would say as we continue to talk about this and as we look at the information that's available, I could see Adam Silver voiding the remaining $100 million contract for Kawhi Leonard and saying, you're suspended for 2 years without pay and your contract's null and void. And he may come out. It's going to come down to how the CBA between the Players Association and the owners is dealt with, right? And then you had this set up with Sterling, right? How hard is it to get? Like, what does an owner have to do to be forced to sell his own property? There's got to be something drastic for that, and it's got to be in writing, and it was there. Otherwise, Silver couldn't have taken Donald Sterling out of it, right? There has to be some kind of fine print.
It's also on recording as well,
right? If it said maybe in those contracts, if you're caught with irrefutable evidence of like some kind of recording or someone, because you wouldn't have been able to prove anything if it wasn't for that recording. You're gonna probably have to have somebody talking to maybe Uncle Dennis on a wiretap. I don't know. When I heard no show job, I started laughing. I just started thinking about The Sopranos.
So let me get into what Travone was saying. The endorsement deal paperwork said long as Kawhi plays for the Clippers, he got $7 million, basically 4 for 7, equaling the 20. Do you think he knew about this $28 million coming in? Because I know what Mark is saying. Well, if he did know, of course he's not going to do anything on it. But if you watch the show and you listen to what the contract states about what he could do or needed to do, and ultimately didn't have to do if he chose not to do it, because that's also in the contract, it shows he didn't really have to do anything. in order to get that money. And if he signs it, and if that's his valid signatures, Joe, on that contract, I don't know. That's also pretty damning as well. What do you think he knew what was going on?
There's a possibility that he might have not known, knowing what we know about Uncle Dennis, if he's
Mm.
involved. Sure.
Mm.
Is it likely? Probably not.
Okay.
Probably not. But it doesn't matter. It's one of those unfair things in life. You're supposed to know. And in this, and I'll even go with the Shohei Ipe thing. Like, dude, you shouldn't have trusted this guy like that with all your stuff. But that could be a culture thing. These guys.
And by the way, we haven't even mentioned that Uncle Dennis should get, if it comes out like this, his access as an agent, his licensing as an agent revoked as well.
That's going to happen. He'll never represent anyone ever again. You will never hear from Uncle Dennis again after this. If everything is legit, he's done, because he will have taken down an NBA, a prominent sports franchise, and tarnished one of its best players of the last 15 years. That's a pretty bad. If that's how it played out, that's pretty bad. You're Shaq made a comment about being in a meeting, and I guess people who wanted to work with him talking to his lawyer, and Shaq would go, "Look at me, I'm the one that's in charge here," and that couldn't be more of the truth when it comes to this kind of stuff. You cannot put your money decisions in somebody else's hands. You have to be the number one. You have an accountant, you have a CPA, you have a money manager, you have a life insurance guy. Yeah, that's fine. They're going to do the things you need, but you have to monitor it. You have to be the head of this. If you're not wanting to do that, then you probably should not make that money, because it gives you more issues. You have to think about more things. And the more you shoot it to somebody else, people are greedy, no matter who they are. And they might not even mean ill will. They might just see $1 million right there in your account and go, man, if I just put this in a quick crypto for a week, I can make 2 million, take the money out, put the money million back in, and then no one would ever know. The only problem with that is some people that have done that end up losing the money, and then they're chasing their tail the whole time. You cannot, absolutely cannot ever rely on anyone when it comes to your money. You can do investments in a certain way. I've done investments where I knew I was taking a risk. The guys were suspect, looked kind of shady, but I've had that work out for me in both ways. It's been good on one and it's been bad on one. And when I say shady, is they have angles that are not necessarily status quo, but it's still not illegal. It's just they just do it a certain way where it's kind of unknown. But I did learn that, you know what, it's not worth it in the end. Even if it is, then that's, you don't really know 100% until you're kind of there. What's the end game here? What was the end game here? To just make more money? Kawhi Leonard's made $300 million in his career. Did he really need another $28 million to go through all this? I'm asking his representatives, should it have been them working in secret? Let's say it's true. Let's say Kawhi didn't know. Did he really need the extra $28 million to risk? This is the whole point of these guys making all this money. They don't need to be gambling. They don't need to be shaved points anymore. They make enough money. How much more do you want to make? And when I say how much more do you want to make, I don't mind you wanting to make more money. But why would you risk? Why would you risk this when you've made so much? You don't have to do that. Just stupid. Stupid. And I think it's going to be bad. if there's more
Absolutely
information.
too, and exactly. I will see in the coming days and weeks as far as how that plays out. It's so funny because I saw an interview with Shams Charania from ESPN because he didn't break this, but he just commented on it as far as from the ESPN perspective. But at the very end, because I think he did it without mentioning. You have to give him credit as far as the written part of it, but on TV, I don't think he mentioned at all who gave out that information. But at the very end, the host of the show, that when it circled back to her, right before it ended, said, "Yeah, Pablo Torre found out." He found out indeed, because usually when they leave ESPN, it's like they're ESPN persona non grata. But it was nice to see Pablo Torre get credit, because if you do that kind of research, Joe, as someone who I said has a journalism background himself, Pablo Torre, and if this is all that comes out in the wash, that it's true, all this comes out of the wash, that it's real, this is going to be a big kudo for him, but also be very damaging to the Clippers franchise as well.
Clippers are already damaged. I don't think anybody really cares about the Clippers. It is going to damage. It's going to damage the team, the other players that had nothing to do with this. Their careers are going to be. They're going to want trades. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say, if this stuff comes out and it's 100%, James Harden's going to ask for a trade. He's not going to stick around for this.
Possibly.
The team is going to be complete. It's gonna look like the SMU football team when they got the death penalty in the 80s. That's what they're going to get if they don't make Ballmer sell the team. It's going to be the death penalty of death penalty version of the NBA. And I'm telling you right now, that little speech today, that PR response, if I find out that it did happen and there's proof, and then you still did a response like that, that is worse. It's going to be worse. You've heard it 100 times. The lie ends up costing you more than the actual deed. If you just come out at the beginning and said, "Yeah, we did it," then I'd give you some points for that. Oh yeah, we tried to guarantee. This is the LA Clippers. We're pathetic franchise for its entire existence. We wanted to do everything we could to make sure we were able to get him. Otherwise, we would have lost him to the Lakers. I at least, even though it would have been pathetic if you saying that, I would have basically said it that way. I would have said, "Oh, that's the lamest, most pathetic reason that I've heard. A billionaire worried about not being able to get a player because you couldn't match talents with a mom and pop shop next door." I don't care if they're the Lakers. It's a mom and pop stop. There's plenty of teams that are iconic teams, the Knicks, that haven't won jack squat in 52 years. So just not good. Not good. That's my interest now. I'm more interested in, now I want to know if it's true so that I can talk to the person who made that little letter afterwards.
Intel Wild, truly appreciate again your generosity with the super chat. He says, "I want the next 5 first-round draft picks for the Clippers to be taken away. Watch how fast ball sacks the team to Vegas or Seattle." Ballmer, again, I don't think he should have the team taken away from him. I think he is, despite what went on here, I think he is one of the better owners in the league. And to say they all try to do something like this, I don't know to what lengths, but maybe the temptation in this case for one of the richest men in the world was too great. But we'll have to see how that plays itself out. But I want to see the team taken away from him per se. And I don't think they will do so either, as far as what they did previously with the previous Clippers owner in Donald Sterling.
The apples and oranges on Sterling versus Ballmer.
And yep, agreed.
The damage that Sterling did to the NBA wasn't so much the league. It was just the fact that I think what made me sick about the Sterling thing is the enabling of so many people, even the greats. The Doc Rivers dealing with him because he wanted his money. Elgin Baylor working with him for all those years for money. See, to me, I don't have a lot of respect for you. I don't care how desperate you are for money. I don't care. If you have to eat shit from a pig so that you can make a living and then you complain about it later. See, that's the problem with me. Is if you don't really care, okay, you don't care that you know that your owner despises you because of who you are, not for what you've done. That's fine. That's your choice. But then to complain after, that's a bitch move. And there's a lot of people that do that. All those Playboy bunnies after Hugh Hefner died, right? Oh, now they're coming out and saying, oh, he did this, this, and that. I'm like, bitch, I already knew he was making you guys go to bed at 9 o'clock at night. And I was laughing. I'm talking about the early 2000s. I heard that shit. I'm like, wait a minute. Oh, I'm like, you're telling me that this wrinkled, bald man, talk about ball sack. I'm like, this old man is telling some other adult that they have to go to bed. They can't be out late. I'm like, well, hold on. What is this? And you accepted that, and now you're bitching about it? No, sorry, not going to play that game. And that's what that Sterling thing was. Is those guys enabled him to do it until finally somebody who on a completely different thing decided to sabotage him just to get back at him, which fitting to be a woman. Not a woman that's the creature of the night type. She didn't get what she wanted, and all of a sudden, here you go. Now, as far as ball sack, as Intel Wild says, I like Ballmer. I don't have a problem with Ballmer, but he screwed up. If this is true, this is a bad mess up, really bad, and he didn't have to do it. So
no,
I don't think he should be suspended. I'm sorry, I don't think he should have to sell the team, but it's got to be pretty bad, especially again because of that response to it, coming out and saying this is false, blah blah blah. You better hope if you came out with saying stuff like that. Like my initial feeling is, oh whoa, they're coming out with all their ammo saying we didn't do this, then maybe it is not true. But man,
watch that video is all I'll say.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not going to be good. It's going to be worse. But Kawhi Leonard, for sure, I'd say, regardless of all the discussions, if Silver wants to really set a precedent, he voids the last 2 years of Kawhi's contract and he's suspended for 2 years without pay. He can come back in 2 years, which, by the way, he won't. He'll probably retire. Coming back after 2 years not playing with his body, he's done. You essentially end his career. And then you can go thank Uncle Dennis if he was involved in the brokering of that deal.
Speaking of which, Intel Wild is asking if Uncle Dennis does go on the podcast airwaves. I will go ahead and check. I do not know for sure myself. Kawhi podcast. So to go see if I can just type that in. It comes up. I don't know. I don't see one with him as of yet. All I see, of course, that comes up is the scandal right now. But if I do find something Intel, I will let you know. My guess is yes, just like Rich Paul has been on a show here or there on a very few occasions. I'm assuming Uncle Dennis probably will have gone on a friend's podcast at some point in time as well. I'll see if I can track that down for you. But,
no, you don't. No, you don't, Trayvon. The reason why you don't help the Clippers by getting rid of Kawhi is because you're going to have first-round picks that are now going to be gone too. So not only are you going to be bad because Kawhi is not there. And you're going to have a team that's going to not want to be there. Guys like James Harden's going to ask for a trade right away, and they're going to have to accommodate him because you know who James Harden is. He's a big baby, right? He'll pout and gain 50 pounds and not do shit. Then on top of that, your reward for sucking at the end of the year and at the end of next year is 0. You'll get second-round picks. And no one's going to go to L.A. willingly unless they're given hush money. Remember, Paul George was traded for half of L.A. to go to L.A. And Kawhi went there because of what we're talking about now. No one wants to go play for the Clippers, guys. No one. They'll go there if they have to. That's it. But no one really goes, I want to go play with the Clippers. I'm in my prime. Let's go. No one. Hell, the Boston Celtics have one of the best run organizations, and no one wants to go there freely. It's always a trade. There's always a draft pick. People want to go to Miami. People want to go to L.A. That's it. If those slots are open, they're going to L.A., they're going to Miami.
I've been looking up so far. I have not seen a situation where Dennis Robertson, a.k.a. Uncle Dennis, has been on a show. But I wouldn't put it past it on. But yeah, I looked it up and I've tried to scroll through, and I do not see any of the podcasts he might have been on as of yet, but I would not put it past it, Intel. So I'm sorry. It does not look like, at least recently, he's been on a show as of late. Did want to make that mention of that. But again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is Joe Soro along with me, Gerald Glasser. But before we get to the All-Star game, yay, stuff that was talked about earlier today, which Joe and I are probably going to be so excited for when we talk about that. And yes, I'm being facetious through my teeth as I say that. Wanted to go ahead and talk about what the preface of the show is. Do you think this is to the benefit of the Lakers because of what's going on currently right now with the Clippers?
Doesn't mean anything.
Well, if Kawhi suspended, I mean, the Pacific Division pathway to winning again.
Clippers were never an issue. They have to worry about Denver and Oklahoma City and maybe Minnesota still. The Lakers have to worry about themselves. I don't think they really do worry about it.
Talk about just the Pacific Division. You think their record will be just a little bit better if Kawhi is suspended for?
Yeah, they'll probably sweep the Clippers if he's suspended and all the drama going on and everybody wanting out. Sure, but Lakers won a Pacific Division championship last year. What is it? The 32nd one they had. It got their ass whooped in the first round. No, division banners are nice for the Sacramento Kings and the New Orleans Hornets, but that doesn't work for the LA Lakers. Conference championships don't even really matter for the Lakers. When we bring up the conference championships, there is something to be proud of there, but it's for those who are obsessed with winning, they look at it as still as a lost opportunity. The memory, most of the memories of a conference championship only that year is disappointment at the worst time.
Once again, it is, of course, the Lakers Fast Break. It is Joe Soro, along with me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for watching us. We truly appreciate you doing so. So with that, I want to hear your thoughts on this, guys. Again, we've been talking about it not only now, but we talked about it for an hour earlier today.
35 division titles, sorry, not 31.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Wow.
34 in the NBA, 1 in the NBL. 34 technically in the NBA.
There you go.
Oh, they have an NBA Cup title too, by the way.
But like you said, the only thing that really matters to us is the Larry O'Brien.
The only thing that matters is 17, and then they had 1 in the NBL, which isn't counting the NBA.
All right. Kurt, great to have you here as well. Truly appreciate you joining us. It is the Lakers Fast Break, but before we head on out, my friend, I want to hear your thoughts on the league's latest proposal for the All-Star game. Yay! As I guess Sham Sharania posted earlier today, so I want to hear your thoughts on this. As far as the first ever USA World All-Star Game format, which I guess is they will play each other in 12-minute per quarter Ryder Cup style games. As far as dealing with the two USA teams and one world squad, they would all play each other. Doesn't that sound fun, Joe? Because it's something that they experimented with. If you remember, during the All-Star weekend with the Rising Stars and the rookies, they experimented with that, and it looks like they're going to at least implement that for at least 1 year. Ironically, as was mentioned on our chat, in the Intuit Dome next year.
The NBA All-Star Game is not about the clown shows anymore. It's about the effort that's not there.
Okay.
So until they fix that problem, they could have a 4, 5, 6, 10, 12 ring circus. It's still going to be a bunch of entitled, soft daisies, not giving any effort, not showing any pride in the game, and not representing their league in any way.
Okay.
And when certain people in my circles ask me why am I hard on LeBron James? Why do you think LeBron isn't the greatest? Why do you think LeBron isn't better than Kobe? That's one of those. That's one of the reasons. He's still the face of the NBA, and he didn't prop up the game. Usually, the greats prop up the game. He doesn't. When people hear about LeBron James, it's negative. Now, Kobe had some negativity too, but people had to even turn away from that because of how hard he played. Just saying. It's not, they don't represent their league. The players, the stars, the face of the NBA, which is still LeBron James, and second is Steph Curry. And you could put Durant as the third guy. They don't represent their league. They don't give two shits about the NBA. They care only about themselves.
So you really don't think it's going to be a benefit at all?
No, and Adam Silver is this is the part where I'm just confused with Adam Silver. Like, why are you? He's not marketing players. They don't know how to market the player anymore in the NBA. They're trying to market a scenario or team. Basketball has 5 players on a court at the same time. The individual player needs to still be the star. People want to see the stars in the NBA. You don't see the stars unless it's the quarterback in the NFL usually, right? No one goes and sees. No one goes to now he's a Steeler. More often than not, they're not really going. Not the majority of people aren't going to go watch Jalen Ramsey play, even when he was in his prime. They just don't. They want to go see Patrick Mahomes. They want to go see Josh Allen. Before then, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees. That's the only play. That's really the big one there. The quarterback used to be running backs too, but not anymore. Like go see Barry Sanders or Walter Payton. Baseball, sure. The individual is big too. Mike Trout, Shohei. But the problem with baseball is that player can only do so much in a game. You can't just throw the ball in that guy's hand and tell him control the game unless you're a pitcher. But then the pitcher plays half the game and then the pitcher only shows up every 5th, 6th day. So the NBA, you have a guy that can play defense, play offense, control the ball, and he's only one of 5 guys. He is the team in a lot of ways, and they're not marketing the player because the players have diluted themselves. They don't care. They've been taught not to care by the system, by how they should have contributed. Everything is me, And then it's going to get, by the way, it's going to get worse because travel ball and baseball is all about money. So you're starting these kids in that mindset of it's all about money, it's all about money, it's all about money. And then they keep going into that mode, going into the pros. The NIL in college sports, that it's turned amateur sports to be pretty much zero. It doesn't matter anymore. Now everybody's getting paid. And we all saw what happened in Alabama this last weekend. One of their big stars, he liked to paint his nails. He likes to paint his nails. I can only imagine what Nick Saban would have done if he walked into a locker room with painted nails.
Current affair, I think he's still on a 2-way, although it's not a regular contract anymore, so he might be on his way out of the league. So I don't miss him at all, unfortunately. So or his hand washing, and I'll just say that. But those are some of the long-lasting memories I have. That, and of course, the Lakers thriving in that 1 year they were all together as they took the Summer League championship. And then that, and also Bronny being heckled after the third air ball he chucked up last year. I think that was a pretty funny memory as well. But we will see what happens for the Lakers again. Thank God it's not the Lakers, Joe, involved in this, or they didn't adhere to, or another team didn't adhere to the demands of Uncle Dennis coming to them saying that, according to reports from Sam Amick from The Athletic, saying that the Lakers and other teams were approached by Dennis Robertson, aka Uncle Dennis, and among other things, asking for a home for Kawhi, asking for a private jet for Kawhi, and asking for guaranteed, sponsorship money for him to go ahead and get us, being, sponsored by other companies and whatnot, guaranteed money that end, among other things. I mean, just the brashness, the arrogance of this all for things that were asked in 2019 while he was out as a free agent. I'm not too surprised because I'm assuming that's not the first time somebody, has asked for those kind of demands before joining a sports team. And again, I'm not sure this is the first time something like this has happened or been trying to get gotten away with from that. A company that looks apparently like a company that was used for funneling money in and out. In this case, according to the allegations, to Kawhi Leonard for $28 million over the course of 4 years. It just seems like this is the tip of the iceberg and there's more to come from another sports team somewhere else.
How long does this go? Does it go into training camp? Does it go into preseason? I think the NBA will want to get this thing figured out before the season starts. So that's something that I would demand if I was Adam Silver in the investigation.
Okay. Absolutely. I mean, this investigation should be thorough. Definitely looked at, but I think it should be resolved because they have a month before the start of the season. I think it should, or more than that, actually. So it should be resolved in some form or fashion, whether or not you suspend or not to suspend Kawhi Leonard on this, but it should be resolved before the start of the season so that the league and the Clippers can know exactly what's going on and go forward from there.
It's not good. And I don't think it's going to end well. And it doesn't affect the Lakers in any way, in my view. It affected them before, but not now, because we could have had Kawhi and lessened the burden. Kawhi could have been part of... He wasn't a part of a dynasty in San Antonio. He was on the last leg of the Duncan, Tony Parker, and Manu Ginobili era. But he could have been. They could have had a dynasty in LA if he had come to LA, or to the Lakers had he come to the Lakers. That's a good what if. I would say that's right in line with what if Kobe was drafted by the New Jersey Nets. And I feel very comfortable in saying the same thing there, right? In terms of what possibly would have happened. The New Jersey Nets would have never became the Brooklyn Nets if Kobe was drafted by the Nets in 1996. And
I
there
don't
would
think.
have been an argument on who's more popular,
Yeah,
the Sopranos or Kobe Bryant. I think Kobe Bryant would win all day.
I would agree with you on that. Generational Hater says they need to have Adam Silver do an episode of Pablo Torre. Pablo Torre finds out. I think the only time those two will cross paths anytime soon, unless it's in a official manner as far as the investigation is concerned, which I'm assuming they're going to reach out to him as far as his contacts, as far as the sources, as far as the paperwork, contracts, etc. So I'm assuming they'll reach out to him on that part of it. But I don't think that they'll have like a public conversation together unless it's Pablo Torre crashes one of Adam Silver's press conferences. But Generational Hater says, can Slovenia advance to elimination stations? There are 2-2. There are 3 teams in their group. There are 3-1. They are going to the round of 16. So we'll see what happens. Like tomorrow, like we said, 8 a.m. Pacific. Of course, thank you again to Vari, aka Sports Baby, for doing that on playback.tv/Sacred Fast Break. You'll get to go ahead and see the game there. Anthony Oliveira says Kawhi literally ruined the Clippers by forcing.
I gotta say something to Vari.
Yes.
I'll be right back.
Okay, so he'll be right back. But Anthony Oliveira, great to have you here. Kawhi literally ruined the Clippers by forcing them to trade SGA and 1,000 draft picks for Paul George. Yes, I mean, as you know, the story goes when Kawhi was signed, I want to get my buddy Paul George onto the team as well. So they manufactured a trade with Oklahoma City, and look what they gave up, including a generational talent, the MVP, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and then also as well Williams as well. Their 2 top players came out of that trade, and it's amazing to see how the Clips are going to continue on clipping. But Kurt Affair says on the next Pablo Torre finds out Magic Man doesn't actually know what it is. Good one right there. CCGO3 says, are all these Euro games concerning you, Joe? I don't want extra mileage on Luka if not necessary. It is to keep him in basketball shape, CCG. And they're close to being eliminated anyways. They're a 2-2 team that seems pretty fortunate to be there. They don't seem like a particularly deep or talented team around Luka, so I don't expect him to last much longer. He'll have a solid 3 weeks before training camp, so I don't think that should be too much of a concern. Although we did see in that warm-up, in that friendly, the first one where one of the fellow players landed on his knee, and he had that knee contusion. So Joe, are you concerned with any of the minutes that Luka's playing overseas?
No. He looks like he's gliding from the highlights I've seen him. I haven't seen a full Slovenia game yet. Just don't have the time right now. But he looks very, very fluid, lucid, everything that you can imagine with Luka, and at his best shape that I've seen him since maybe his rookie and second year in the league. Sports Baby, you see this? For the love of God, get this. I just got mine, so we don't have to hear that damn beep every time you're on air.
For our audio listeners, Joe is flashing out a seatbelt buckle. There you go.
It's an extender.
Okay.
My Tundra, I just bought a Tundra almost 2 years ago. It's a 24 Tundra, and of course the newer models have all the bells and whistles. In the past, when I bought my trucks, I was able to always find a way to get the beep, the seat. By the way, I wear my seatbelt every time I drive, but I'll unplug it sometimes to reach for something. Even if the freaking truck is stopped and it just beeps. And I'm like, so finally I had to get one of these. God, saved my life.
There you go.
So,
all right. Seatbelt extenders indeed. But once again, it is Joe Soro along with me, Joe Glassford. Thanks again for watching this. We truly appreciate it. Tomorrow, 6 p.m. Pacific, I will have on Antoine Willis. He will be stopping by. He writes on the Lakers and also as well the Hawks for Fansided. So it'll be a good conversation for an hour. And then, of course, hopefully we'll have something for you on the weekend. Again, I am working on stuff behind the scenes to go ahead and get more content out there in the coming weeks to come, for especially first for our members who will get it first. So if you want to become a member today, it's just $2.99 a month to go ahead and make sure you're hooked up with us and see what exactly I have in mind for you guys first and foremost right here at the Lakers Fast Break as members. Jay, Intel, after this, go learn how to it won't hurt like you did. Will say, oh wow, guys, calm down with the nasty words. Come on, guys, be civil to each other. Come on, there's no need to start getting nasty. This is how all these internal fights start in our chat and whatnot, and we lose people over it. The only one that should be feuding are Xbox and Sports Baby, because they always go at it. So that's to be expected. So,
and it's funny.
Yeah. So I've seen. Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. But Joe, great episode. The NFL season starts tomorrow. I was speaking with Chris on the latest Inside Sports Fantasy Football, Chris Sardieri, on our NFL predictions earlier tonight. So I will get some from you now. Thoughts first on your Pittsburgh Steelers this season, my friend.
We're not going to really know who they are on Sunday against the Jets, but I would like to see. I would like to see Aaron Rodgers show Aaron Glenn a little bit. Aaron Glenn made Aaron Rodgers fly all the way to wherever the hell he was in New York, maybe, just to tell him they were going another direction. And Aaron's like, couldn't you have just told me this on the phone? But then again, he could have done the other thing and said, they told me over the phone that they didn't want me. So you kind of screwed either way. Aaron Glenn probably wanted to tell him to his face, which there's some respect there. I get it.
Intel Wild says he hopes this investigation goes all season long. No, I'd want to get it done right away. I want a decision made right away, and the decision to come down fast and forceful. Sending a message.
I have no idea who's going to win the Super Bowl. This is one of the most confusing seasons I think I could remember. I have no idea. No idea who's going to win the Super Bowl this year. Usually I had a good idea. You know, you got KC, I've been picking KC the last few years. Philly still has a strong team. Niners have the easiest schedule this year, and they were destroyed by injuries last year. If Purdy lives up to his contract, they could be scary, because Kyle Shanahan can coach. The problem is he only coaches between quarters 3 and halfway through the fourth. Last half usually is a conundrum for him.
Trevone says, man, until Tomlin leaves, we're not going anywhere.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's probably where my he's a really bad coach. And when I say bad, I say anytime there's a coach that doesn't have his team prepared to play 2 to 3 times a year, year in and year out, that's a bad coach. You cannot ever not be prepared. You can get your ass whooped in a game. You can have a bunch of turnovers that cost you the game. You can make a late mistake in a game. That's fine. That stuff happens. But when you watch, and I've seen this so many times, when you see a team that's got talent, like the Steelers always seem to do, and they play down against teams that they should beat, that to me is a sign of a bad coach. Just if you need an understanding of the differences, just look at Alabama's coach right now versus what it was before. I know comparing to Nick Saban isn't is not a fair comparison, but if you look at what set the stage on DeBoer and what's going on now, you would probably that would probably make sense. You look at Nick Saban's office, for example. Sometimes the little things matter, folks. When you pay attention to the little things, big things don't happen to you in a bad way. But people get scared off because people get told, "Oh, you're judgy. Oh, you're jumping the gun." No. The little things, especially at the beginning, will tell you a lot about who and what. So someone had mentioned this. I was dying laughing when I heard it too. They showed a picture of Nick Saban's office. It looked like every old school coach. And by the way, guys, Nick Saban coached in this era. It's not like we're talking about Bear Bryant or Lou Holtz at Notre Dame. We're talking about like 2 years ago. His office looked like a coach's office. When they showed they showed a picture of the Boer's office, it looked like a Verizon store. And then you watch how these guys are playing, not running when a ball's been intercepted, or maybe a running back is getting to the end zone on a pitch. And then, of course, my favorite was one of their best players wearing fingernail polish and showing it to everybody. That Seattle, what is that? That Seattle, Washington energy that DeBoer brought to Alabama. Okay. I hear a lot of my friends here in the West Coast, all the ones that like to put their chin up on everybody. They make fun of states like Alabama. And then when you take one of them little daisies over there to make things happen, to make things work, they always fold like 1-ply toilet paper drenched in piss. It's like, yeah, the imagination is an amazing thing. People imagine in the worst of times that they're doing things right. Like, you're stupid. You're a fucking idiot. You are stupid. I've had that discussion so many times with people. Friends, when I say friends, I'm not talking about guys I hang out with every day. I'm talking about people that I know and don't know me, and that have taken certain liberties with what they think is right and what is wrong. I've had that discussion, and it's a beautiful thing when you say it to their face. And it's nice to say it in front of people that they're around, that they hang out with, because they're used to hearing that person talk like a god, and then the real God comes and puts them in their place. Now, they won't admit that they got put in their place, but the seed goes into those around them. That's a beautiful thing about that. And you can see it because no one has responded to them. That's a weird thing. It's weird how people will manifest things in their heads. But you see the results in Alabama. You've seen the results with the Mike Tomlin coach team. What are you seeing there? A whole lot of nothing. But Mike Tomlin is a great coach. Okay. Okay. Oh. How many games have you watched Mike Tomlin coach? I've seen all of them. I've seen every single game that Mike Tomlin has coached as a Pittsburgh Steeler head coach. I have seen. Are you going to believe me? Or are you going to believe the guy that wants him to be great? Yeah. You don't think I want him to be great? When I was watching Nick Saban coach, you never heard, I never said anything negative about him. He lost games. There was fumbles. There was blunders. But that's part of the game. What I didn't see is I didn't see Nick Saban's teams not be prepared. I saw him get beat by a better team, by a better play, last second shot, last second throw, whatever. Did anybody ever say that Bill Belichick was a bad coach when he was in New England? No. Did we say that Phil Jackson was a bad coach when he was in LA or Chicago? No. What about Popovich? Was he ever a bad coach? Maybe one time. Maybe in that Game 6 in the 2013 finals. It's not a bad record, right? I mean, even Mariano Rivera blew 2 World Series wins. And I'll tell you which one I'm talking about. The 1-01, obviously. Up 2-1, bottom of the 9th. Arizona scores 2 runs to win the game. The other is not closing out Boston in 03 because I didn't see the Yankees losing to Florida. I'm sorry. I didn't see the Yankees losing to the St. Louis Cardinals in 04, not 03. Sorry. Nah, Jay, that's. I'm assuming you're talking about what recently happened this weekend, or are you talking about before? Bill Belichick's always been a coos hound, by the way, guys. You just didn't know it till now because he started dating 20-year-olds.
He certainly didn't bring into his school the right 20-year-olds because they got their butts kicked this past weekend. So,
well, he lost his first
happens.
game in Cleveland. He lost his first game in New England. It's not. Belichick needs a couple recruiting classes for North Carolina, but then I think he came into the college football at the worst time because NIL is what dominates the landscape.
It does.
But what could happen, what could change some things, and one of my really good friends who's a Alabama guy, Alabama boy, he wants Dabo Sweeney in Alabama, and I'm like, you might be getting him because Dabo's not going to be winning at Clemson, and DeBoer ends up losing the first, let's say, 3 games in 7 weeks. You're going to start hearing some stuff.
We will see as the college football season continues but we're going into week 3 here for college football season and week 1 of the NFL. So definitely looking forward to seeing that. But for basketball fans, it's kind of interesting right now what will continue to go on. Again, with the reported fallout from what may happen with Kawhi Leonard, the Clippers, and how that shakes out. But if we hear any news on it, any other big decisions made, we'll go ahead and report it on the show. But Joe, always great having you on, my friend. Any last thoughts before we head on out?
I might have an experiment show tomorrow. I'm still trying to get the studio. The reason why I haven't been able to get to the studio is my schedule has absolutely blown up. Usually September is supposed to be the month that slows down. It's not, and it doesn't look like it's going to slow down the rest of the year. So bear with us. We're going to have a special show here soon, and I'm going to be in a studio that's going to look much different than what you see here. And we're going to knock it out of the park, and I'm going to try to make it a regular thing. I'll still be back and forth and stuff, but the ascension is starting. I've been calling it the ascension. There's in my life, there's been 2 ascensions in my life that took me to another level. One was going to college. The other was getting married. And now I would say the financial, not financial, the working ascension. That's kind of the last thing because obviously the 4th is death. So yeah, I'm at the cusp right now, and and it's going to mean good things, guys, for all of us. Because it's going to give me more time. It's going to give us more resources, which is what this is all about. And it makes me happy that we didn't have to ever sell out. We didn't pay
for $28 million for doing nothing.
$28 million is a stupid deal when you've already gonna make $300 million.
Okay.
If you're talking about if you're talking about making $1 million a year, okay, I get it. If you're gonna fix a game in 1909 when you're making $15 a week, okay, I get it. Why would you do this? Why would you demand something stupid like that if you did when you're already going to make millions and millions of dollars? No, not yet, Kurt. I'm not building a studio at the house. I probably don't want to build it at the house. Not this house, anyways. But there will be a studio, and we'll see what happens on the next house if there is one. Then at that point, we'll figure it out. I like to usually kind of keep the advanced stuff away from that. Like I have a house. I'm sorry. I have a office warehouse that I don't really necessarily need, but it's nice to be working at a job. Sometimes I just like to get to my office and just work. Home is supposed to be where we just kick it. At least that's how I look at it. And then as far as us doing a show here, this is more me, my friends hanging out. That's different. You're just virtual.
Well, there you go. Indeed. Once again, it is Joe Soro. Maybe a experiment on the way tomorrow evening.
By the way, that's
for
an
us-
extra. This is an extra TV. Sorry, G. This is an extra TV. It's going to be going away soon. I have the real one here. I have the real one right here.
But the Otani portrait there, that's semi-new.
Again, my boy Drip Show, Chris the illustrator.
Oh, there you go.
It is the gift that will always keep on giving. Chris is one of the best hosts that I've ever been around. When I went to training, spring training, we had a great time. And guys, mind you, I had never met Chris before then, and I haven't seen him since. But I felt like I'd hung out with him for years. When somebody does that in the first 2 minutes with you, that's a special person. And I knew he was special then, and that was before I got all this stuff. So Drip Show's coming with us wherever we're going. He will be with us. He will always be with us. And the best part about doing the show is how awesome and how cool some of the people that I've met already doing this. So, including, the hosts, Gerald, and I haven't met Sean face to face. I haven't met Mark and Vari face to face yet, but I've met some of the listeners face to face, and they're all fantastic. And if we never add another person to this thing, I think we won already.
Still got to meet up with John. I heard there's some money on the line.
Yeah, it's weird, John. John doesn't understand what 80s, 90s basketball is, which is why he doesn't know how good Michael was. John doesn't understand. He's not going to shoot like he would at the Y. I am not playing 2025 NBA All-Star basketball. I'm going to be playing Lambeer basketball. So every time he takes a jump shot, his ribs are going to be exposed. And I will decide at that moment whether it'll be needed to be attended to.
Hopefully we'll get back John here in the rhythm shortly. I know he's been just moving into a new house himself, trying to get his new office acclimated and all that. So hopefully we get him back on the show.
This TV is first of all, both these TVs suck ass. I finally learned a little bit about capabilities of these TVs. Just a internet app for all this stuff is garbage. It's convenient if it's like a side door. Like, I guess you could look at this as like kind of like a studio room with we can watch something quick, but nothing beats the actual box from DirecTV. Everything else lags. It's not the way I like to do things. The DVR is slow. It's hard to operate. Apps suck. It's good on the phone because it's convenient. That's it. But I'm actually going to be putting the box back in here so I can actually watch TV like a normal human being instead of going up and down and delaying after 50. Every time you press a button, it delays 15 seconds before it moves. I don't like that shit. And that's what both these TVs do. These TVs both belong in the garbage, actually. But I'm not going to throw them. I'm not going to throw them away. They're going to go somewhere.
Donate them. There you go.
No, I'm not donating. No, I'm not going to donate them. I'm going to make sure somebody uses it. I don't like charities and I don't like donation areas because I end up finding out that these assholes sell it on their own or they end up pocketing money. So if I ever do a charity or when I've done charities, I've always had to be in charge of the money.
There you go.
Girl Scouts are not bad though. Girl Scouts provide a very good product. They're not all bad. They're not all bad. St. Jude, right? St. Jude Hospital. That's one of the legit places that money.
I don't know, that popcorn for the Boy Scouts at $20. I'm not digging that. And that comes out every
That's
year.
paying some CEO nonprofit, right?
Exactly.
But if the popcorn's good, you're paying for the popcorn.
Yeah, but I don't know. That's just it's just $20. I mean, for that much, I'd get. Yeah, never mind.
Don't you pay $20 when you go to the theater?
I don't buy popcorn at the theater. I usually bring snacks in. I'm one of those guys.
That's fine, but popcorn theater is like Diet Coke at McDonald's. No one makes it better than a theater, though. I mean, it's bad for your colon, but it tastes good.
Well, no, I did get some popcorn at Fantastic Four, I should say, when I saw it. So yeah, you're right. But still, my God,
I wanted Kawhi the talent, Dirk. I'm about championships, baby. I'm about winning. And if he had just done that, by the way, that's a good question, JY. Thank you for bringing up that. I am looking for. This is the first fight I've been looking forward to for a while. It's like the first real, like I think maybe Tyson Fury and Wilder, the three. I think that was the last time I gave two shits about a boxing match.
It's gonna fill up, hopefully, the stadium here in Las Vegas.
Oh,
you need it. We need it.
A star, 2 stars fighting in Vegas. Something that has been a lost art, and it's sad. And for the love of God, UFC, stay in Vegas as much as you can. Enough of these potato camera telecasts in Dubai. These guys have trillions of dollars, yet they don't have a normal camera where it doesn't look like you're in some kind of dungeon with haze on the camera lens. Come on, guys. Get your shit together.
Intel Wild, before we head out, thank you again for your generous gifts so far to us. Truly appreciate it. It helps the channel immensely. It says Magic Man is doing Magic Mike secretly behind the scenes. So truly appreciate Intel, all the super chats you provided today. And then once again, Joe may be on tomorrow night with an experiment. I'll be on tomorrow, 6 p.m. I'm scheduled to with Antoine Willis to talk for an hour with him. He writes again for Fansided on the Lakers and also the Atlanta Hawks. And then tomorrow morning, one of the quibbling Australians that we have in the chat, aka one of our awesome, great moderators in the chat. Of course, I'm talking about Xbox Sports Baby, of course, Current Affairs, well, Intel Wild, all great moderators, but it is Vari, aka Sports Baby, who will be up at 1 o'clock in the morning Australian time to go ahead. Yes, the guy who needs a seatbelt extender.
Please buy one of these. I got 2 of them for $16 on Amazon. Know it. Get it. Use it.
Again, Slovenia versus Israel tomorrow at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern on playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. And my thoughts on the Dodgers? I said, yeah.
Padres are giving them the division, and they're sitting there with their thumbs up their butts and ears and nose.
It started for me with their relief pitching. I really think they never really addressed that to the extent I would have liked to see.
0 game. They have 8 shutouts, dude. 8 shutouts this year.
But now the hitting. Oh, the hitting. Don't even get me started on the hitting in baseball, Joe. I was looking at it last night. I was scrolling as far as 300 hitters in the league.
It's bad. It's one of the worst seasons I've seen hitting.
It's bad. And I'm like, people are talking about MVP contenders. Guys that are hitting like 220 that are MVP contenders. And I was going like, what? 225 and the guy's an MVP contender? That would have never happened during our youth, Joe. Even our early adulthood. That would have never been thinkable that a 220 hitter would be in line for these awards. But that's where we're at, Joe. 220, 240 hitters. I mean, it's terrible. Remember Jose Altuve with the Houston Astros? What happened to him? He's slid off the face of the earth, man. He's just like an average batter now, 270 or something like that. I saw 20 homers. He used to hit like 350, 330 every single year. Then just all of a sudden they decided as a whole, as a player group, as the entire league, for the most part, just decided to go ahead and just change the way they see baseball and just strike out or hope for a home run. It's not what it used to be, Joe. It's harder to watch baseball these days, in my opinion.
It's harder to watch everything these days because I keep saying society and sports becomes a microcosm of society. These guys are so soft. There's exceptions, but most of them are soft. They're pampered. The society of we live in a society of excuses. Everything is, well, he grew up like this. Oh, he didn't have this. She didn't have that. This is this. This is that. This excuse after excuse after excuse. And I even got kind of back and forth in my own head using certain words because I was like, Joe, you don't want to talk like that. You want to have a little bit more class. But what word can I explain, a normal word, to really have this dig in that? Like, what saying, going to somebody, I'm not saying Aaron Judge is like this, but imagine going to a guy who's 6'8", almost 280, calling him a wuss. He's not going to believe you. He's going to look at you going, who the hell are you? But you are. I'm not saying him. I'm saying somebody that was that size. Look at a basketball player. I mean, there's plenty of soft 6'7" guys there, right?
Yeah.
These guys are soft daisies. The guy that, the schmuck that plays for Alabama with his nails. What are you doing? Painted nails? Now is that supposed to be special? Anybody can go get put it on their nail, be a complete asshat. We've normalized stupidness. We've normalized being a daisy. And this is the result. I'm in the results business. The results are right in front of you. You're not going to be, I don't give a shit if you're Sigmund Freud, Albert Einstein, or Isaac Newton. If you come to me and say that these guys aren't as soft as I'm saying they are, then you're dumb. And every generation is going to keep getting worse. Toughen up your people. Toughen up your kids. Sometimes the people around you need to hear that they're idiots when they're idiots. When I do something stupid, you can go ask my wife. I get pissed off at myself more than anybody. And when I screw up, I expect to be told what an idiot I am. I'm a human being. I'm going to screw up. But I take ownership of it and I take accountability for it. I don't sit around and whine about it. Maybe it's because I ran too far. No. Do it or don't do it. And I fail a lot, by the way. It's like life is like baseball in a lot of ways. We fail 7 out of 10 times. Maybe 8, most of us. Maybe 9. If you fail 7 out of 10, that means you're still going to the Hall of Fame, especially right now.
And we will see what happens.
I hate sounding like a life coach. I'm not saying this to be a life coach. I'm not trying to give you guys advice. I'm just telling you what's up. This is why these things are happening. That's it. I'm not telling you not to be a daisy. You just need to know you are. No one tells you. Everyone kisses your ass, whatever. Nothing gets done. Nothing gets done if somebody who's screwing up isn't being told they're screwing up. Remember that. All this stuff with the All-Star games, all this stuff with barely having 300 hitters. Trey Turner is batting 302 right now in the National League. He's ahead in the batting race. 302.
302.
302. Yeah. Bunch of daisies.
There are right now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, 6. There are only 6 players, Joe, above 300 in batting. That's just awful. That's absolutely
worst
terrible.
I've seen ever.
That's just awful. It's just unfun to watch at times. Baseball. I know it was slow forever. I understand, even with the fast pitch count and the fact that the game moves a little bit more briskly. It's still, with all the strikeout, and the fact is they don't even go long as far as the pitchers now to get those 10, 12 strikeout games as much as they used to. I don't think the strikeout record will ever be approached by anyone at this stage, because these managers, like after 3 or 4 innings, they just pull out these pitchers just for any reason. So yeah, it's just Tough to see, but yeah, tough. Actually, Aaron Judge still leads overall at 323, but there are 6 players right now batting above 300, and Trey Turner is the only one in the National League that's doing it, and he's at 302, which is again just absolutely mind blowing to me. If you would have told me that 10 years ago, I would have said you're on crack. But yeah, it is what it is. So join us tomorrow, 8 a.m. on playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break for Slovenia versus Israel. Thank you again to Vari for doing it. Joe tomorrow for the Joe Sorrell Experiment. Myself again for the Lakers Fast Break at 6 p.m. With Antoine Willis Jr. to go ahead and talk to you about the Lakers. So looking forward to that conversation. And we will see how the Clippers are going to play out. But yeah, Clip's going to clip every single time, Joe. Every single time.
This is the biggest clip too. Might be the biggest clip. I didn't think anything would cover the Sterling thing, but I don't know. Maybe this might be the bigger one in terms of the results of the punishment.
Yeah, I agree. But we will see what happens, and we'll report it if something big happens here on the show. But thank you so much again to all our mods. Thank you to our crowd that got to get a chance to watch and see us again for another show today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps out the channel immensely, and it truly is appreciated by all of us right here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast.